Believe it or not. And I think you're saying, lady, hey, when were you born? Let me tell you, darling, it's for me to know and for you to find out. Today, I'm so privileged as your host. I'm not alone. The angels in the room. Everything is so bright. Everything is so beautiful. Even my cap is telling you that we are rolling in a different angle. It's a wing. Things are going to be happening. But nevertheless, make sure you grab your coffee. I know it's a winter season. Grab your ginger teas and sit and be put and get ready for us. Hello, wonderful people. It's such an amazing opportunity for us to gather in this fashion and do what we're called to do. Today it's about decoding leadership with 3 pillars that we embrace in our podcast, which is pivot, lead, and thrive. Today I'm so privileged as your host. I'm not alone. The angels in the room. Everything is so bright. Everything is... And today I'm moving with amazing, exceptional, intelligent, sound young people with me today. And I think you're like, Lady A, we can't wait. Who are they? Hang 10. Don't worry. As you know that June is a special month here in South Africa for us typically. I'm in Pelala in Mzansi. It is a unique month where we have to recall and remember what happened in our land, in this soil in 1976. Vavajay.
Where were you?
On only guy, Bogopi. I was not born. But nevertheless, let's roll today. Like I was saying, on the June 16, 1976, young people here in South Africa rewrote history because we refused to be boxed in. I always say to the people around me, kick the box away, pave the way, remove the needle on the table so that we can make the beautiful impact that this universe needs and the people around us that desires, that hungers for it. And therefore today I want to say that with the 2 gentlemen, young dudes with me that I have, I'm talking about the Felane brothers. Oh yes. You can see they look vivacious, healthy, handsome, sound, ready for us today. And I want to say that if you know them, if you've been following them, especially those that are based in South Africa, you will want to put them in the box because you'll be just thinking about, we've seen them doing cricket, so you'll be boxing them as cricketers. But today we're going to change that narrative. We'll be unpacking more to you what are they all are about. So as much as you know that they are cricketers, let me share with you, Unati is a great fan of Luther Vandross. I think now inside of you there's this beautiful melody of music going in and out. But nevertheless, he's a fan. But one of the things that he does very well, he loves inhaling and exhaling, impacting people's life, which we're going to unpack in these podcasts. And when you think of what must I say? Let me say this to you. There's something profound about him that he carries a grace of transformation inside of him. It's part of his DNA where he gets teams that are lacking in the sports field and is able to change the narrative and rewrite new records. But did you know that he also loved cooking? You didn't know. You are here to find out. So today, I want us to strip off the narrative of only seeing them as cricketers, but unpacking what is it that they do from a leadership perspective point of view. And they'll be unpacking it for us in terms of pivot, lead, and thrive. On that note, I want to welcome them in this podcast, and I want them to take maybe a few minutes and enjoy the ride with me. And whatever they're going to say, telling my beautiful viewers who they are. They mustn't talk about anything about cricket. I'm taking that away. That's my right. That's my podcast. So welcome the Felane Brothers. It's so great to have you on board. Tell my viewers, who are you without crickets?
Go, brother.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Unathi Felani. Without cricket, I would say I'm a political enthusiast who is crazy about entrepreneurship, and to unwind, I think exercise is a big thing for me. Athletes at heart, always will be.
Athlete at heart.
Athlete at heart.
Ooh, so that's the heartbeat, basically.
That's the
yes.
DNA. That's every cell, every fiber. That's me.
Every cell, every fiber. Ding, ding, ding. No.
I'm not going to pivot too far away from what the young man has said. Greetings to every single viewer. Greetings, Lady A. Thank you for having us. Who is Unewa apart from a cricketer? Unewa is a transformational human being. Unewa is a creative at heart. Unewa is a problem solver of note. Unewa is a avid or passionate enthusiast about the study of communication, about the study of media, about the way in which information frames how we think as people. And most importantly, I think Unewa is a leader of men, a leader of young men in society.
Okay, but when I did my homework, there was an element you leading even girls.
Oh, yes. One of the parts that I hold very dear to me is my ability or the privilege that I have to work with young girls.
Okay.
Though related to a sports field as well, it's the intrapersonal development that matters to me.
Okay.
Because as Katnisning, we tend to, as coaches or as mentors, we tend to worry about the performances that they put out on the field, and you neglect the fact that you're working with 14 to 18-year-old individuals who are trying to figure out their bodies, figure out what I'm feeling now, figure out why is there something in my stomach when I see that boy. You're doing all of those things. You're trying to all of those things out. So I'm very passionate at leading through learning because that's very big for me, and it's an underrated part of leadership and mentorship among young people.
Amazing. Unathi,
Yes,
my
ma'am.
homework informed me very well. I always say to people, if you're not in the know, you will be deformed. And you're not informed, you will not flow. So I want to flow with you today.
Okay.
Because my insight is that you love politics.
Big fan of, yes.
And what prompts that? What provoked you into this sensitive space? I always say that space it's an 18 area for intellectuals and people that loves controversy.
To answer that, I think maybe it's a element, he spoke about it now as well, it's an element that I learned through sport, and that's problem solving.
Okay.
And I think maybe even my first answer would have taught you a little something about me, which is I'm very direct.
Okay.
So I'm not a fan of us beating around the bush about things. And why I mention all of this is my love for politics purely stems from the fact that so many South Africans, so many people in the youth, so many different generations have problems in politics, and no one has ever thought, well, maybe let me be part of that change that sorts that out. So you speak about corruption, but the corrupt people are the only ones who feel like stepping into that space. So a little bit of it, I think for me, it comes from, I think it was natural. I always just had a natural interest in politics.
Okay.
But in the same way, I've had a natural interest in real estate and entrepreneurship and business and etc. Why this is so important for me is because it's a problem that it feels like no one's willing to solve.
A problem which no one is willing to solve.
No.
Now I've got you. The future is so bright for the two of you. You've got this passion for politics. There's a lot of things that are happening here in Zanzi. Even yesterday I was reading something what's happening all around and all upside down. And it's quite interesting from a political perspective. Lenses, one would desire to understand, to say what's coming. While people of your caliber, as young as you are, will be sitting and brainstorming to say, if I'm given the opportunity, I'll be able to bring this on the table that could possibly move the needle. So if you were given an opportunity right now in South Africa to say, come in parliament, what is it, that one thing that bothers you, that you believe that it should be our key focus currently for the country?
So picking out one is a bit hard because there's a lot. I'm so glad I'm prepared for this question. Gosh, that's good. The main thing for me would be infrastructure. I feel like South Africa is in a place where our infrastructure is very volatile, not because we don't have it, but because our infrastructure is just mismanaged. The amount of money per year that is paid on taxes versus the amount of money you hear is, if you listen to any commissions, be it Zondo, be it Madlanga now, be it Adcock, if you understand anything and you hear some of the numbers that are thrown around, I mean, 1 trillion was thrown around in the Zondo Commission, for example.
Okay.
So, and that's just 1 trillion wasted on mismanagement. So I think infrastructure would be a big thing. Obviously, yes, there's a big upper right now on immigration, which is a big thing. But I think for me, as a South African, if I had to implement policy and if I had to take into the management of our infrastructure, the betterment of our infrastructure is big because it also creates employment.
Yes, sir.
So when you better your infrastructure, employment just gets better, and employment just decreases crime rate decreases poverty. So it's just better for your economy holistically.
Okay. Quite interesting. It is my desire
Okay.
to see you in the future, navigating and thriving in the political space. I have confidence in you that you'll contribute very well. You know, I believe that when you're passionate about something, when you pursue it, give it the right focus, getting the right support. And I know that your parents are very supportive people.
Yes.
And maybe Nemo, how does it feel today to be next to your brother and listening to him rolling with his passion for politics? Yeah.
And I think this ties down into what I believe, or one of my core beliefs, when it regards to leadership, and it's your ability to lead from behind.
All right.
It's your ability to surround yourself with people that are versed at things that you are not good at.
Oh, yeah?
To answer your question, I get an immense sense of pride when I think and I look at this young man, because
the story of adversity that goes into his life that he'll touch on is on another level. From age 10. Age 4? 10? Something like that. 5. Yeah. So the story of adversity that comes with this young man is one that I am immensely privileged to be a part of. I mean, our woman is just to enjoy the ride and watch the young man thrive in the space that he wants to go into. Is to make sure that I am as supportive as I can be so that he's able to pursue his dreams.
Okay.
That's my
So
big.
support is big for you.
Very much so.
Okay, because I've seen naturally that when you look at different families, there's this struggle. It's so beautiful that I've been following you guys behind the scene, and your mom playing a front line in terms of ministry, servicing communities, and giving you guys opportunities there to come and serve together with her. So I've been like, all right, okay, let me follow. But I've seen you guys starting mastering leadership from an early age, and having an opportunity to grab the microphone, speaking to people, and impacting some of the work that she's doing. The point that I want to arrive into right now with this point is that I want to take this moment and applaud your parents.
Yes, sir.
They have done so exceptionally well. To Madam Filani and Mr. Filani, you've done exceptionally well. If it wasn't because of your amazing work, I wouldn't be sitting with the Falani brothers today and making sure that the fans are enjoying their drinking from their well of wisdom today. So well done. So before I go further, let me give an opportunity to thank your parents, to grab this moment and thank your parents. I know you didn't see this one coming, so I flow as my spirit leads, right? Just thank your parents. Take a moment.
This is to thank, I think I want to pivot a little bit away from just my parents, and I want to thank the parents, even the ones that are in society taking up a leadership role in our lives. It really does it does take a village to raise a community, and I want to thank you guys for the work that you guys have done, even holding us to a particular standard, even holding us to a standard and bringing us to book when we deviate. That's not just been a responsibility for my parents, but it's deputy parents that have taken up that role to make sure we don't mess around in public. So thank you for that. And then to my own parents, there aren't, instead of mom, there aren't words to describe the way I feel. You always kept a secret, you always stayed real, and I appreciate how you raised me and all the extra love that you gave me. Dear mama, thank you. Thank Thank you for changing my life. Thank you for bringing perspective into a world where I felt was very rigid for a long time. Thank you for allowing me to express myself and be me. Thank you for the lessons that you impart on leadership, not through word, but through action. Pops, the man who sacrificed everything for my betterment. The man who was at every cricket game. The man who was at every award ceremony. The man who cheered the loudest.
You want to make me cry right now?
I don't think I can top that.
They both mean the world to me, but directed at Pops now.
I don't know what I would be without you and your leadership. And in a generation and in an era where fatherlessness seems like it's a trend, I want to thank you for choosing to be present in my life as a young man. I am who I am because of you, because of your teachings, whether you know that you are teaching or not, which is an amazing thing because ngifunda ngendlela. And you've chosen to be our best friend as well, so I appreciate that. Thanks, Dad. Bazali.
Best friend Daddy right there. Wow, so beautiful. Good night, T.
I think I'll try be again as direct as possible. Both my parents. Both my
Direct, my director.
No, I'm very direct, but thank you so much. My parents. I think I struggle a lot with expressing emotion. I think that's probably a thing of mine. I've always mentioned that.
Correct.
If you want to know how much I love you, look at what I do for you, how much I sacrifice for you.
Are you going to do something for me too?
Acts of service. Acts of
So
service.
I really do struggle to point it out, but given the platform, thank you so much for my mother, my father. An unsung parent for me is my grandmother.
Yes, sir.
She is extremely important to me. She always has been, from birth, believe it or not. So I think my grandmother in particular, thank you very much for raising me. She was the person who stayed home and took care of me while my parents were doing everything they can to provide for me.
Do you want to tell the viewers who's your grandmother?
So can I say her name? I've never said her name before, actually. Unomzantuli. Thank you very much.
Sis Mo, my
Mo.
dad.
Thank you very much for everything she's done for me. I will always appreciate her. My mother, thank you so much for lessons, I don't think I can, but I can't explain how much my mother's done for me. I can't explain how much sacrifice she's made for me. I can't explain how much emotional turmoil sometimes she's had to go through because of this journey that Noah's just spoken about.
Yeah.
There's a lot of emotional turmoil that she took.
Yes.
So I'll always thank her for that. My father, I'll always thank him for being there. My dad, I'm saying was, yay.
You win.
Hey, my dad is Superman because my dad did it all for us. He tried. There's always a story that Noah will explain to my dad actually, where my dad would go to work in the morning. He used to work in Rosebank. He'd leave Kempton Park, go to Rosebank. At 1 o'clock, he'd leave Rosebank, go to Kempton Park, fetch us from Kempton Park, take us to Benoni, from Benoni, back to Rosebank, from Rosebank, back to
Benoni to pick us up.
Benoni, back home. And it's like the end of Benoni, like the last trip of Benoni. So it's, words can't explain the amount of gratitude I have towards him.
Yeah.
And my sister as well, because played a massive role.
Yeah. You know, I'm sitting here, I'm inhaling this beautiful, amazing love, gratitude, appreciation that is so sweet right now. And there's always power, as telling the people that we love while we are still alive.
Yes. Give them their roses.
Yes, give them their roses, give them their chocolates.
Yes.
Give them
Okay.
their appreciation. Yeah. So thank you so much for grabbing the opportunity. Now, you picked up a bed at the age of 10.
I did.
Oh my goodness. Were you trying to run away out of the house?
Yes. That story it's a makeup of who I am. I started a little bit earlier, but I've always been a sportsman by nature.
Okay.
My football coach happened to be the cricket coach at the school as well, with the KFC mini cricket. And he said to me, well, you're good at sport. Why don't you go try? Okay. And there's obvious resistance as a young man because there's a perception about cricket. Noguti eyabubani.
Oh, yeah.
There is.
And I'm glad that we have changed that narrative, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So then I went over onto that side, and I want to say the rest is history, but I wouldn't be doing the journey justice because it's my foundation and my formative years have taken place with cricket side by side. I know I wasn't allowed to say the word today, but it would be amiss of me not to mention what has changed my life.
Oh, yeah.
Cricket has changed my life, and cricket has taught me lessons that I don't think a man could have taught. Not because of the wins, but I've learned a lot more from them. I've learned a lot more from the losses. Cricket has taught me so much about me as a man that I feel 100% confident in my ability to lead this new generation of young people. And when I say lead, it doesn't mean by title, but it means in the spaces and the spheres that I'm in, I am able to impact that because there's a shift in generation that's happening.
Yeah.
Because of previous disadvantages and because of where we were societally, where we are now, this is the most, and this is with no disrespect to the ones that have come before us, the generation before us was a generation of doers. That's a generation that got things done. It's a generation that stood up and fought and threw stones thick and thin. They stood up and they went in to get things done. Our parents, a la yourself, have gone beyond leaps and bounds to ensure that we are the most learned generation of all time. Congratulations to your son for graduation, by the way.
Look at me now. I'm a proud mom, blushing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That further, I think, attests to the point that I'm trying to make is because we're the most learned generation, it's got to correlate in our employment. It's got to correlate in our ability to pivot away from a particular leadership style. Because we've gone from a style where in the past, the only thing we knew about leadership was at the forefront, Amandla, we fight. That's the only thing we knew about leadership. But now we are in a space where society has transformed and it needs a different kind of leader. It needs a leader that empowers those around him because he's empowered. If I am able to ensure that my younger brother thrives, I will thrive by extension.
And selflessly so.
Yes. Without any motive or gain, I will thrive. Yes, ma'am.
Let's unpack something. You've just touched something that I'm interested on. I've seen a sibling struggling, whereby when one person is thriving or is good at something exceptionally so, and they want to shrink instead of standing firmly, appreciating, uploading, supporting, and celebrating. What is the word of wisdom that you will unpack today to those that are struggling to celebrate their own siblings? And at times you find that other people, this thing at times is driven by parents.
Yeah.
Whereby when one person has achieved something that is exceptional, they want to give a credit to the other one who did anything exceptional at that moment. Why the focus must go to child A? Holistically, in totality, what kind of advice can you give to children and to parents to say, don't give credit where it doesn't belong? If it's a moment for Unathi to shine, let's focus on Unathi, let's celebrate, and you still keeping your selfless heart. Because that's a struggle, eh?
It is, very much so, very much so. I think the first thing that I want to utter before I get there is to say, as young people, as friends, as siblings, as employees and colleagues, you've got the responsibility to usher us into this new generation. You've got the responsibility of being people that embrace their competitive streak. Embrace it.
Said it so beautifully.
Embrace it. Because the competitive nature of us in groups should allow us to thrive. Go about it the healthy way. The only problem is, Tina, you get that feeling. Khona lento ethanda ukuhlala la on your shoulder bayibiza ngejealous ngomona. Lo hlala la okuhlebela kancane.
It smells bad, man.
Yeah, uyahlupha lo.
Very poisonous.
Uyahlupha lo. That person right there is the danger. But you need that voice. Because then you're not aware of where you are. I believe very much in conducting into a self-audit.
Okay.
You audit everything else in your life. You audit where you are in society. You audit ama friend groups wako. You audit ukuthi ubani unemoto ethini. What does it do for your social standing yami? Nginemoto enjani? Nginuka kanjani? What do I look like? But you've got a responsibility to conduct an internal self-audit that needs you to be honest. And that self-audit has got to address where you are, where you want to be in 2 to 5 years, and intrapersonal relationships with people. Because we are in an era where we are the most learned group of individuals, but we have embraced the most odd things on the planet. Sure. Unfortunately, empty mouths don't get fed, and we don't communicate well enough as people. Because now you're in an era where you need network.
You know, that on its own, it's currency.
Oh.
It's currency. But let's not go deep into that. We'll deep dive another time on that one. Let's talk to Unathi. Thank you for that insight. Let's talk to Unathi. Unathi, you've accomplished your degree, right? But I want to focus on a pivot question here to say, what's one pivot you didn't choose, right? But had to master? And what did it teach you about leading yourself first? Because I always say, you cannot lead others if you can't lead yourself first.
Great.
Indeed.
So self-leading is critical for us as human beings.
So to answer that question, weirdly enough, my degree is the pivot. Because for a long time, because of how good I was, I thought...
Can you say it again? I want that. Loud and out.
My degree is the pivot.
Yes.
Because of how good I was at sports. And
Oh,
Was.
you've heard it. How good? How good? I wanted to
I'm shooting. Okay, we're shooting at good. Naturally, I would have expected 12-year-old me would have probably expected me right now to be a pro tier probably, because naturally that's what it was. And I grew up, I think, and moved. Even though yes, I'm still in cricket, but I think allowing myself to be a bit more multifaceted helped me, because as I grew up, I realized that's why I say my degree is the pivot. Because for a long time, even after I just left school, my gap year was because I was so hell-bent on moving towards business.
Yes.
So me being in politics is a complete pivot from that, because as much as you can find a way at the end of the tunnel for them to interlink, from me going from sports to, okay, cool, we're going to broaden our horizons into business.
Yes.
And then me saying, I want to study business. I looked at every avenue. I looked at commerce, I looked at administration, I looked at entrepreneurship, I looked at marketing, HR, you name it.
Real estate.
Yes.
Real estate, you name it. And the pivot, then I've mentioned a lot of times to other people that you learn a lot more when you do your own research and live your own experiences. Yes. And I think maybe the one thing about our generation that we don't necessarily get well is that we've got all the knowledge in the world, but we lack wisdom. And I think we don't want to hear the wisdom because of the knowledge. So we've got the theory, but your generation's got the practical. For a long time, I wasn't willing to hear the practical because I was so sure about the theory that I had.
Yes.
So I think to answer your question directly, the pivot for me was my degree, and I've mastered it in such a way that I've been able to now have sport, business, politics as something that shapes me in general. And obviously, they've all got their subtopics, but my pivot then, and what I had to master, was I can live a life where all three of these are a focus.
Okay.
I think they're all a mainstay, and I can thrive and progress in all of them. And I think maybe that's probably the part of leadership that I learned through all of this.
Sure.
Is I had to be flexible. I couldn't be rigid in my ways, because if I was rigid in my ways, I probably wouldn't be sitting here, because I'd still be scrambling trying to figure myself out.
Rigid results into stagnation, by the way.
Yes.
But there's a question that I want to ask the two of you, because you've touched a lot on pivot, and I believe that as you pivot, right, there are things that you need to grieve.
Real?
Right. There are things that you need to let go. And as I was growing up as a little girl, there's this hashtag of mine. I used to say, bye-bye trouble, wave it away.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So you have to grieve it. You have to wave it away. So the question that I want to ask that, as you were navigating, what part of your old self you needed to grieve to grow into the kind of leader that you have become individually? Let's hear from you, Neville.
It's a bit of a sensitive one.
It looks as if you gripped something that you wanted to hold on to.
I'm in the process of grieving something at the moment, actually. And it is,
It's not easy, right?
nah, to some extent, it is my cricket career.
Man.
Because while I believe it's not finished, but I'm grieving the part where it made up my entire being. I was just a cricketer. I was just an athlete. I was just a sportsman. That part of me is a part that hindered me from developing into a son, a brother, a potential husband somewhere, a university student, a young man. It hindered me from becoming that person because I was so hell-bent on being a professional cricketer. I am privileged at the fact that in my house somewhere, lays in cricket, you get capped when you play. And I've got a baggy blue, which means I've played at the highest level of South African cricket.
Yeah.
And that is something that I'll forever hold dear to me. But I am grateful because I am able to grieve that from the front foot. I'm not grieving it forced into this corner by circumstance or by work or by situation. I'm grieving it because there's another part of my life that's thriving, and that's my academics. That's my education. I've completed my degree. I'm into my postgrad studies. I am mentoring young girls. I am, other than just being a professional sportsman, the toughest part about this grieving process is it's held on to the only thing that I've known. And that's hindered learning in other spaces.
Like your heartbeat, right?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
your oxygen.
Oh, yeah. But I'm forever grateful to this game, regardless of the tough times that it has put me through personally and everyone through. I am forever grateful for it because it has provided me with opportunities to grow in those other spaces. So I think we say this a lot as, myself and Nati, we say this a lot. The team that we play for, let me name drop. Eastern's Cricket doesn't have to pay me. Cricket has to pay me. If cricket, the game, pays me back through life lessons, through exposure, through experience, through learning, then Eastern's Cricket don't have to pay me.
That's deep.
And that like helped the grieving process along the way. Because then I looked at it from a lens where maybe I feel aggrieved at certain things, but I cannot frown at cricket because cricket is the reason I've got an income today.
Let me speak to you as it's dropping in my spirit. I want to say this to your spirit. Your grieving is rich. Your grieving is currency. Your grieving is impact. When people, they're going to interpret your grieving from a carnal perspective point of view, they wouldn't understand that your grieving is actually you're unveiling
Yes.
new opportunities, new doors, new perspective, new elevation, new wings like an eagle.
Receive.
And let me say this to you. I think this moment is just so spiritual right now. Let me say this to you. As you unveil, when you unveil something, God is saying it's a moment for you to thrive. When you look into a life of an eagle is able to renew its strength through a process that is so painful, through a process that is not comfortable. Grieving is not comfortable, but grieving brings rebirth.
Yes.
And I want to say to you, congratulations.
Thank you.
For staying sound, for staying focused, for staying put, for not giving up, even when the situation was saying give up. There's strong men within you with the great seed of faith kept on holding on, on showing up, on focusing, on being present with the skill and the competencies within you. The future for you is exceptionally bright.
Thank you, ma'am.
And let me tell you this, as you unveil, remember that you didn't only get rich with those remunerations and benefits that you've quoted, but there were people that were sitting at the back, people that were clapping, your parents, your siblings,
Yes.
your friends, and even potential girlfriends, dude,
Hey.
that were sitting there and saying, I wish I want him to be mine. They were sitting there and they contributed in celebrating you, appreciating you. But the beautiful thing, that is not just grieving, but it's legacy being built.
Oh, yeah.
That will rebuild a number of legacies in your life. I'm so glad that we had this beautiful moment right now.
Really?
Right now. Let's hear you, Unathi. What is it that you had to grieve?
With me, I think a big part of my personality was, for a long time, the best at what we were doing.
And did that make you guys for a moment to be comfortable?
The biggest thing it led to was comfort.
Look at your brother.
I can see him looking at me. I'm trying to look straight.
I like how you focus. That's a
I
strength.
had to look at the camera.
Yes.
So it did breed an element of complacency.
Okay.
Because, for example, in my younger years, I got injured a lot.
Okay.
Right? And because I came back the same, I just never worked as hard. So I got injured, I came back, I was as good. But
As
the
you were.
As you were before. But what
Yeah.
that leads to is eventually
Catches on.
It just catches on. So what I had to learn, or what I had to kind of grieve, was the star boy completely. The guy who didn't have to work as hard in school, the guy who didn't have to work as hard at sport. I mean, I'll give you an example. In the same year I was given head boy, I was given most versatile boy in school. I was given most versatile boy in school because I was the best chess player in school. I was the second best athlete in my grade. I was the best cricketer in my team. I was the player of the football. So it was easy. It all came easy.
Yeah.
And the one thing I had to learn, or the one thing I had to grieve, was that that's just not how life worked. I was able to be I don't want to say arrogant, but the moniker I could portray was that.
Okay.
So I'd come through, you mentioned earlier I've got a more calm demeanor. That's always been me. But I need you to envision that with less smiles, with less conversation, with just... And it's not necessarily something that I was in terms of... I wasn't arrogant, but I was very comfortable with people having that assumption of me because I was just comfortable. So I had to grieve the star boy. The arrogant projections fit the star boy very well.
Okay.
So I had to grieve the star boy to
Yeah.
become the guy who works hard. And now I've got to a point where one of my biggest monikers is I'm confident because of the work I put in to get to where I'm at. You can only become confident in your work.
Okay.
So we're confident, for example, that the camera is running because it was charged. But if you hadn't put in the work to charge it, you wouldn't be confident that the camera
Oh,
is
that's
going to work.
powerful.
True.
So that's where my confidence stems from now. Back then, I relied a lot on my talent. I think now I rely a lot more on the amount of work I've put in to drive me. So my confidence stems from there. So I think I had to grieve the star boy. The star boy, and for me, it was a big thing because the star boy was everything to me. That was big for me. I remember my period from grade 10 to 12, I'd lost the star boy. So that's the point where I had just decided maybe this friend group's not going to work for me. Maybe that sport isn't it. I'm trying to focus on this specifically. That's really where I'd lost it all. And I struggled with identity for a really long time.
Okay.
But that's where I figured out that it's not just business. It's not just sports you're good at. You've got business about you.
Let me ask you, is that the very same moment where you discovered your passion for politics?
It is the period.
Wow.
That was the journey I had to go in to realize. Well, the Star Boy is not just that. Because I feel like I've got so many different talents. I was so focused on the Star Boy because that's the guy that got the attention. The sports guy got the attention.
Yeah.
But the guy who wanted to pursue business, back then you're not as cool anymore. Now I sit here and a lot of the people who may have not felt that way can look at me and be... Even if you look at my circle, education's a big part of it, by the way. I recently checked it. There's a group of people I look at as friends and every single one of us are either studying or have completed a qualification. So that's what I had to grieve. And a lot of the people that I was friends with back then don't have a qualification.
Okay, as we wrap up right now, I want to say you've heard it for yourself. So much quality of wisdom in the room. And one thing that I'm taking away is that the Filane brothers, they are actually multi-dimensional, highly gifted. But if there's one thing that I need you to understand here right now, is that the implication of wisdom is in the application.